Hello and welcome to Pat's Latest. I'm your host, Mike Gambardella. On today's episode, we dive into two of the newest players on the Patriots roster and why those free agent acquisitions are going to make such a big impact for Mike Vrabel's squad. We dive into TreVeyon Henderson and is he indeed in store for a year two breakout? And of course, more updates on our favorite non-Patriot, AJ Brown. Before we get into it all, just a huge thank you to our subscribers. And if you haven't yet, what are you waiting for? Go down and hit that subscribe button so you get the latest information on your team each and every day. And make sure you get in those comments. Let us know what you think about the AJ Brown saga and what's going on with the Pats. And if you have questions, throw them in there. We'll answer them right here on the show. Won't make you wait any longer as we get into it, starting with Kevin Byard. The biggest acquisition in the offseason for the Patriots thus far. Byard, an all-pro in his own right, someone who is a true leader both on and off the field, someone who's familiar with Mike Vrabel and his system, and finally got the chance to take the podium in front of the media on Tuesday. Had a lot to say, was obviously asked about Mike Vrabel, kept it to football and what it is on the field. And his quotes, I think, are fairly telling. His direct quote was, "A guy like Mike Vrabel, who's played in this league for a long time, had success, Pro Bowls, all pros, won Super Bowls. When a guy like that gets in front of the room, he commands the room and he commands attention. It's very easy to buy in because he's done it at a high level. And I think for any of us players, you want to be coached by somebody that's going to connect with you as well on a personal level. People want to know that you actually care about them. I think it makes it very easy for you to want to be able to play for a guy like that. I think that's one thing that Mike does well. And this just reiterates everything that we found out last year. And now you're bringing in a guy that has one that is at the top of his position and kind of becomes a little bit of that quarterback of the defense in a sense, keeping everyone in line, knowing that Mike Vrabel is looking for and having the extension of Vrabel on the field is truly important. Jalen Hawkins was great in the role last year, but this is a huge step up for the Patriots defense, and I think one that's really flying under the radar when you get a guy like this here. And Byard also mentioned that Vrabel has been operating like the same energetic guy he saw back in Tennessee. And he was asked about his counterpart in Craig Woodson, who he's going to be playing next to. And Woodson broke out onto the scene, a rookie starting in the Super Bowl, just a fantastic story. And Byard said that he's a very talented player. He said just watching the film, seeing someone that things that he did last year, he's trying to build upon that. Hopefully we can get some turnovers this year, which is exactly what you want to hear. He said that Woodson's very smart and excited to be able to play with him. And if Woodson makes that year two jump as well, this is potentially one of the best starting safety duos in the league. And that's exactly what Elliott Wolf wanted to do from a free agency perspective. And that's what he's done. And now you put them out there with Carlton Davis, put them with Christian Gonzalez and Marcus Jones in the slot, put this secondary up against anybody in the league. You can make a case that this potentially is the best secondary overall. And when it comes down to brass tacks, obviously, I think one of the top three units in the NFL, bar none. And it's just excited to be able to say we're getting closer to seeing this out on the field. Something that we're going to see for the first time as well is Romeo Doubs being in the fold for the Patriots offense. And it's not just a Patriots wide receiver that's plugging in for Stephon Diggs. This is a new weapon and new tool for Josh McDaniels and his system. And Romeo Doubs was asked on if he thinks that Josh McDaniels can, his offense really, can enhance his skill set even more. Because we've seen Doubs do a little bit of everything and fly under the radar because of that rotating cast of wide receivers in Green Bay. And Romeo responded with, yes, just being around him, being in his system, understanding this system thus far, I can already see how he thinks. And I think that's fairly telling from a guy that's able to pick up on Josh McDaniels that quickly. He's either giving a very short answer or it's actually something that is to be bought into, because if a guy's picking up a system that is this complex that quickly, then there's even more that you can do with him. Romeo went on to say, "It's a completely different mind," was the direct quote. He said that's something you need as a player: different game plans, different perspective, different concepts, ways to run routes. It's something to see, and I'm blessed to be around it. And again, the complexity. This is Dobbs in a new system for the first time. It's going to be interesting to see how quickly he takes to it. And if you can do that while also having guys around you like Kayshon Boutte, Mac Hollins, uh, you know, we'll see what else ends up there as well. Is Stephon Diggs back? Is it AJ Brown trade? Uh, it gives a level of dynamism that this receiving core lacked last year. And I think Dobbs can have a huge impact on that. And it is something to be said for the one we didn't mention in Kyle Williams and how quickly he can emulate and get on the same page and how they operate and the different perspectives, different positions, playing in the slot, playing outside, seeing how these guys are able to really encapsulate what Josh McDaniels is looking for. And Dobbs added that the language and the concepts between New England and Green Bay's offense are very different. And that is why this offseason is so key for this wide receivers group to get up to speed, because they are going to play such a important role in the development of Drake May. And what is important for the development of Drake May is an extremely strong run game. And that starts with the line up front, adding the addition of Elijah Vera Tucker at left guard, Jared Wilson sliding into his natural center position, and adding depth at the tackle positions in the draft. But for TreVeyon, who had an excellent rookie season and could at one point, and you could actually make an argument that he could have been the rookie of the year. I think Tetero, McMillan is definitely that guy. But as a runner-up for it, I think, Henderson has a case. And when you're looking at, can a guy get to a second year breakout after a strong first year, the case and the interesting part, and it is a little bit of apples to oranges, but maybe not as far off as one might think. The perspective or comparison really is TreVeyon Henderson next to Jahmyr Gibbs. And it's a big stretch, I know, because now Jahmyr Gibbs is one of the top 5 running backs in football. But Jahmyr Gibbs' rookie season, right, played 15 games, 182 rush attempts, ran for 945 yards, 5.2 yards per carry, had 10 rushing touchdowns, added 52 catches, which is just extremely impressive for a running back, totaling 316 yards. That would be just over 1,200 yards total in scrimmage. Added a receiving TD and actually made the Pro Bowl in his rookie year. So that is a little bit of a turn up on TreVeyon Henderson's overall season as a rookie, because the rushing attempts were nearly the same, 2 off, 2 more for Jahmyr Gibbs. The rushing yards were negligible, 34 yards total in difference. The yards per carry, 5.1 for TreVeyon, 5.2 for Jahmyr Gibbs. 10 rushing TDs. Well, TreVeyon had 9. So he's right in line with it. The receptions, yes, 52 to just 35 for TreVeyon Henderson. It'll be interesting to see if Josh McDaniels starts to incorporate that a little bit more. But the overall scrimmage yards, 1,132 for TreVeyon Henderson and just over 1,200 for Jahmyr Gibbs. So again, this is playing right into it across the board. Getting close to the numbers of a guy that has developed into one of the best running backs in the league. If you're saying that TreVeyon Henderson should have a better year 2 with a comfort level in the NFL, having another year under his belt, getting to work in Josh McDaniels' system, understanding the assignment, playing in a role, is it a 1A, 1B, third down back? What is it next to Ramondre Stevenson, and start to chip away at a potential 60-40 split? Then suddenly, yes, you are starting to emulate what Jahmyr Gibbs did in year 1 to year 2. And then, yes, you can start to think about this true boom, this breakout season for TreVeyon Henderson. And now it's not just the wide receiver core that has been remade. It's not just the tight end room that sees Eli Raridon behind Hunter Henry and potentially getting up to speed quickly. It is the running backs behind Drake May that are absolutely bringing a different level to this group and hopefully leveling up this offense as a whole. And finally, we end with the usual AJ Brown updates. And again, we said it yesterday, it's slowly counting down, count down the rest of May, get us to June 2nd and see what it is. But this was interesting because both Byard and Doubs, who spoke to the media on Tuesday, of course, were asked about AJ Brown. And they kept it professional, but did give some decent color to it. Romeo Doubs added that he has a ton of respect for AJ Brown. He said Coach Vrabel was his coach. I understand there's a lot of rumors going around. If he's here, I'd love to have him here. And if he isn't, I'm still going to wish him the best. A very cookie cutter answer. But I think at least giving the right answer. It's not, hey, we have enough in this room. I want my touches. I want my catches. It is giving the right answer, doing the right thing, and I think needs to be commended at least for that, because you can go the other way. And I think we say it again, we probably say it every day on this show, culture, accountability. It is guys that are not making it about me. It is about the team. It is about getting better and respect for everyone's craft, even if it is coming at the detriment of your involvement in the offense. So again, tip of the hat to Romeo Doubs and Kevin Byard as well about AJ Brown potentially being traded to the Patriots. Byard verbose because he knows what to say in the NFL, but he added, I try to stay out of that part of the business. Decent start, but kept going with, we trained together in Tennessee. So it's not like I haven't said, hey, AJ, what's, what I mean. But no, we honestly haven't talked about it directly. So it's interesting that, there is a personal relationship between Byard and AJ Brown. This is not strictly just I want to go play for Coach Vrabel. He knows guys that are here. He has relationships, friendships, and that makes it easier to go from an old locker room to a new one. He said, Byard went out to say, I don't know what's the situation there. I hope he can work. Yeah, I hope it can work out. I hope that he can come here and play with us. So that actually takes it a step further. I hope the situation can work out, but I hope he comes here. He's being point blank. Like, get this guy in the building. But that remains to be seen. If we're able to get AJ, obviously he's an incredible talent. He's a true number one wide receiver in this league, so that'll be awesome to pair up with him again. Giving the man his flowers, saying that it would be amazing. We'll see. Again, it's such a long road. It's such an interesting situation. At this point, it would be a true letdown if AJ Brown is not in Foxborough at the end of this saga, but players are aware of it. His former teammates are aware of it. GMs are aware of it. Other teams know. Obviously, the whole of Foxborough does. But we have another 3 weeks to get through. We'll continue to bring you those updates as we go. But if you have questions about this, why is it taking so long, everything else, obviously we've covered it a ton on previous episodes. But if you have direct questions, throw them in there. We'll answer them. And if it's a new one, we'll bring that topic up here on the show. So again, get the comments, hit the subscribe button, give us a like if you like what you hear. Go back and check out all those episodes so you know about everything going on with your favorite team as we bring it to our faithfuls out of Foxborough each and every single day. We'll continue to bring it here. Fight on, Foxborough.